Hello, my name's Rhiannon and I work for Ask for Advocacy in Kirklees with Touchstone. Um, we do lots of different types of advocacy. I specialise in independent mental health advocacy, so that's advocacy for people that have been sectioned under the Mental Health Act. I also do community mental health advocacy, general advocacy, parenting advocacy, and some of the other people on the team do independent mental capacity advocacy or deprivation of liberty advocacy. Um, so there's lots of different types, but what unites everyone that uses advocacy is they are people that have experienced injustice or are at risk of experiencing injustice. So a lot of the time we work with people, professionals that have got set ways of working and maybe they're not listening to clients and what they need. Um, they might not be hearing people's opinions, or they might be assuming that because they're the professional that they know best, and that's not always the case. So, for example, as an IMHA, I might go and see somebody on a ward that's unhappy with the medication they've been prescribed, um, but because of the situation they're in, they're led to feel powerless because they might be there. Well, they are there against their will. They might want to go home. It's an intimidating environment, but they still have their rights, and an advocate can help them know about their rights. So it might be that they're not happy with their medication. I can support them to go and speak to their psychiatrist or doctor and say, I'm not happy with my medication. This is the reason why. What are the alternatives? What are my options? Instead of just accepting what they believe to be their lot. Um, when people have been downtrodden or kind of experienced those institutionalized services for a long time, they can either forget that they've got rights or feel that they're not deserving of having them met, or that those rights are for other people and not for them, which obviously just isn't the case. Similarly, I work with a lot of people with learning disabilities or autism, um, and professionals surrounding them, while they can be well meaning, don't always give them the platform that they need and don't trust their judgment about their own needs and their own care. So, an advocate's job is to make sure that their voices are heard, and to kind of explore people what their options are and encourage them to voice their opinions and say if they think that something's wrong. Um, and it's not just about speaking for them in that moment either, it's about empowering them to be able to speak for themselves in the future and giving them those communication skills to and that confidence to say, no, this is wrong, I want things to be different, and to be listened to as well, and hold people to account when their needs aren't met and they should be. An advocate isn't really allowed an opinion. um, we can't give people advice. We can tell people the likely outcomes of things they might say or do, but we can't tell people what to do, and we'd never do that, because it's about independence. It's about their right to make decisions that they want to make, and holding those up. So there might always be decisions that I would make or I would agree with. They might not. They might hold beliefs and opinions that I don't share. But it's not about me. It's about them. Um, and the umbrella there is that they are able to speak up and have justice. It can be really, really hard being an advocate because you rarely enter happy situations. People don't call them advocates because things are going well. Um, so it can be really difficult. You meet people from difficult backgrounds that have had terrible things happen to them or are happening to them. People that are at the end of their tether, people with cripplingly low self-esteem, people that are just having a rubbish time. But it can also be great because when you make those small chips, when you keep chipping away at things, you, you get those, you see injustices being dismantled. That is really satisfying. You can kind of go to bed thinking, I've made a real difference in someone's lives today. And especially when you've made it so that bad things aren't going to happen to them in future as well, because they're able to stand up for themselves and address issues. It's really important. So yes, that's a little bit about advocacy. Um, and yeah, happy National Day of Smashing Injustice. Thank you. Bye.